Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm thrilled to have you here, and I am thrilled to have our guest. She is a repeat on the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. Sylvie Mazarolle was our photographer a couple of years ago for the cookbook trip to the Charente-Maritime. And she also spent a couple of days with our group in Paris as well. And it was so fun, and it was so fabulous to watch her experience France for the first time, camera in hand. I needed probably a rope to put around her wrist to keep her coming with the group because she was just so delighted. And I mean, it's Paris. That whole place is made of eye candy. So it was so fun to see her with this childlike wonder and delight, but then also see her bring it when she was photographing Jeff in the kitchen in preparation for the cookbook project. So, which is still an ongoing thing. You know how these artists are. They desire some perfection. So come with me to the Charente-Maritime in September, and you can help me convince Jeff that he's perfect just the way he is. Okay, but back to Sylvie. She is a fantastic photographer, and she has continued to evolve in her business and in what delights her, that I just had to have her back on as I read her newsletter and hear her energy and how elated she is about the new things she's up to. I figured you would appreciate an update as well. And if this is your first introduction to Sylvie, you're going to love her. She's amazing. So Sylvie Mazarolle is a professional photographer with over 15 years of experience as a visual artist based in New Brunswick, Canada. 8 of those years were spent as a professional makeup artist in Toronto's film and fashion industry. Her past experience in combining colors and creative narratives as a makeup artist have had a significant influence on her work as a photographer today. The results of that combination produce rich, elegant, harmonized images that evoke emotion. Her approach to photography focuses on using natural light when available, along with trusting in not just what she sees, but how she sees it. Food, travel, and portraits, along with the beauty of the world around her, are all things she likes to explore in her photography. Beauty is everywhere. Take a minute, slow down, and really see it, taste it, and get to know it. Enjoy a slice of life. I am so excited for you to hear this conversation. I'd love to know your takeaways. If you're listening to this, well, of course you're listening to this. I'm talking to you right now. As you're listening to this, take a screenshot, put it in your Instagram stories, and tag both Sylvie and I. We would be so excited to know that you're listening. And I think Sylvie would really love to hear from you as well. So please enjoy this conversation with our friend, Sylvie Mazarolle. Sylvie, I am so excited to have this conversation with you. It's been way too long. I know you're up to amazing things. Listeners, if you did not hear my first interview with Sylvie a couple of years ago.
It's been way too long.
Exactly. We will link that in the show notes so that you can hear all the backstory. And then you can say, huh, that was then, and this is now.
This is now.
Thank you for being here.
And a lot has changed, and yet nothing has changed at all. So it's kind of full circle.
Well, I'm eager to hear more. So let me just ask you, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
How am I not saying yes to myself?
Excellent.
Yeah. It was a kind of a rough start to the year, I'll be honest.
Okay.
We had traveled to Sweden. The boys wanted to go see the hockey game, and I, having not very much interest in sports, but a lot of interest in traveling and photography, decided that I was going to tag along. And I told them the only time they would see me would be seeing me at night when I got back, when the sun went down, basically. And during that time, I also took a course on how to run a food photography business.
Ooh.
And I'll be honest, it's the worst thing I've ever done.
Oh, say more.
Yeah, because I've always been intuitive. I've always been an intuitive photographer. I've always lived my life intuitively. I mean, even when you and I were traveling together, you mentioned, how intuitive I was when you were doing stuff and you were being quiet, and I totally knew where your headspace was.
Right.
And so taking this course, it was very strict and it was very rigid of how to run it and how to completely revamp your website and niche and be in the pocket of like what you wanted to do and just focus on the food photography. Like you shouldn't focus on your traveling, and that's your personal stuff. And so I did it thinking
That sounds like a guy.
she had a very masculine energy. She had
Okay.
a very masculine energy. And that's where I was like, and I did everything she said. I'm kind of like, okay, well, maybe this is how it should be. And maybe this is what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to follow my instincts and say yes and follow this wherever it takes me, right?
Sure.
The minute I redid my whole website and took all of my travel stuff off, it's like someone took part of my soul away. I was miserable. I was not showing up authentically. I was just following someone else's rules or someone else's template of how my business should run. And I did that until about, I said, I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
And I just went back and I took another, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. And I'm still not completely happy with how the website is right now. I still want to tweak it to how I really want to authentically live in that space of my business. But it's getting, the minute I changed it and the minute I decided to do it myself, things opened up again and business started to flow again. And it was almost like from January to March, it was like I had put a big dam right in front of the flow of my business and the flow of who I am. And so I just said, you know what? No, I can't do that anymore. I have to be who I am. I don't have to just photograph food, because there's more to life than just food. And I love photographing a slice of life.
Right.
I want to photograph people. I want to photograph adventures. I want to document life. And that includes food, places, faces, and flavors. So
I love that so much. And I think that there's so much to unpack in that. Thank you for that story and for sharing your experience, because sometimes we sign up for a course and it changes everything for us in a positive way. And everything that mentor says is magic. And right when the student was ready, the teacher appeared and everything they said, and it's all good. Sometimes we take a course and the program promise is not even close to what our experience was, but the people that we met, for example, how we met and how we met so many of our people
great,
that are
amazing
still
friends.
4.5 years later, sometimes that's the takeaway. And then sometimes you have an experience like this where the takeaway was,
I already knew what I was doing.
there you go, which is what a beautiful lesson. And what that was a great exchange in value for what you paid for the course and what you learned in the experience. that was it, because you could have been second guessing how you were doing stuff and could it be better and am I doing this, and you got that question answered, so that's a gift.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Sometimes it's not about learning something new, it's about confirming what you already know.
Exactly.
And
that validation.
You need someone outside of yourself to confirm that, if you will. I mean, not all the time, but in this case, that it's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was.
I love that for you. And I think so often too, when there's a financial output, that there's a lot of expectations, like this needs to change everything in my life. Like that was a very expensive $3,000 or whatever, because of how much energy and expectation was associated with it. And then sometimes when we do something like that, that is a big investment, and our needs or expectations are not being met, then we just keep going back to it. And well, I have to finish it because I paid and I got to get my money's worth. It's like, okay, first of all, as our friend Rachel would say, who we met together back in 2020, that money is already spent. So just let it go. You don't have to keep working with that website developer just because you gave them all this money and they'll keep returning a product that's not to your liking, or you don't have to keep whatever it is that you're involved in that you feel like you're tethered because you paid for it.
Yeah, you don't have to keep investing your energy in it if it's not serving you.
No.
It's counterproductive, as a matter of fact, because I just kept getting more and more frustrated and more depressed and more suppressed. And it was just like, I can't, like, it was working before. So why did I get greedy? Did I get, did I started second guessing myself? I don't know. I felt like I had plateaued maybe, and I needed to level up. And I thought that that's what it was, but it did. I mean, I did get other things from it as well. Like pitch it, like the, tiny little things that I tweaked my own business and applied it to, but applying it to the way that I want to do it, or that works for me and that works for my clients as well. Because sometimes the model from another country does not apply to where you live.
Well, from a different state, from the city to the country, from anywhere,
from city to city.
Right, from your neighbor to you. It's just, there's so much individuality. And of course, the person that's offering that program is very well intentioned and believe that they learned some things and they want to share it.
And I'm sure that some people did benefit from it, right?
And you did too, just differently than what you thought you were walking away
but the
with.
Expectations were. Exactly.
So I think there's so much to that, what we can learn in those situations of being curious and having a mindset of discovery and of growth, not just putting a happy face sticker on every bad experience that we have. It's not that, but it's when we find that we are outsourcing our power, our happiness, our success, our anything, of course, have mentors, get help, read books, listen to podcasts, sign up with coaches, do all the things, and consistently be asking yourself,
does that work for me?
Right. What do I need?
My values.
And what do I need today?
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that my coach, Gina DeVee, who we just had on the podcast a few weeks ago.
No way.
I'm so excited. Yes, thank you. Thank you. That was very fun.
That one for sure.
Thank you. But one thing that she says in my monthly call with her is, okay, how can I be of service? What do you need from our time together today?
Yeah.
Because she's not going to just come in and pretend she knows
thing about what you're doing,
when I actually kind of thought she did and thought she should and thought I'm paying you to tell me what to do. And like, that's actually not accurate. And
you're paying her to help you find the answers within yourself.
That's exactly right. I mean, she did tell me at one point early on when we were working together, she was like, Wendy, you actually need to use one of these sessions to learn how to be coached, because I feel
Oh,
like,
wow, that's great.
yeah, like what you're doing is you don't use the, like, I didn't mean to talk about this, but I wasn't using the Voxer access to her to just, check in every day and let her know what I was working on. I
Right.
was actually waiting to resolve something that I was having trouble with and then reporting to her what a great job I did resolving it so that she would be proud of me. I'm like, okay, wait,
Right.
you're not my mom and you're not my kindergarten teacher. You're actually, and she was telling me, yeah, you're doing great. And I can help you go faster
Right.
and I can help you, like, you can use the coaching.
And I can't help but relate it to you just reminded me of my son who plays hockey, right? His coach is not there for Dustin to, I'm not paying his coach for Dustin to figure out how to do stuff on his own. I'm paying his coach to help him improve where he already is and fine tune his skills. So, like we pay coaches for our children all the time for sports or for art or for this. And as an adult, not that we don't know how to do it, but it's a sounding board, right? It's someone that's not emotionally involved in what you're doing and where you are. And they have such a different perspective that maybe because we're banging at this door and we're banging at this door where there's 2 or 3 different ways to get in.
Right. And they can see all the open windows.
Yeah.
Right. It's so true. And I think that what was coming up for me in that was I just wanted to be the good girl. I wanted to be her best client that actually didn't even need her to coach me, because I wanted her to say how amazing I mean, it's silly. I did the same thing with my divorce lawyer. And I told her, it's like, I haven't called you because I haven't done the thing that you're going to tell me that I need to do. And I want to wait until I could do it so you can say good job.
Yeah.
And she said,
Yeah.
Wendy, how about we do that thing for you? Like, oh, that sounds great. Please do.
Yeah.
Like, and so it was just a beautiful awareness. It was expensive awareness, but a beautiful awareness to see, where am I trying to perform, or where am I in this good girl energy instead of in this
Yeah.
the space to receive, to be the student.
And especially I think as women, because we are such nurturers and we are such problem solvers and we are there for everyone, in the family. And it's not easy to put that plate down and say, I need help. I need to be shown a different way of doing something, or I need period. Saying I need is really, really not that simple and not that easy. I need and I
Right.
allow.
Right. And it's not that, I mean, and it's okay to not know. It's why
Yeah,
we have a coach. It's why we sign up
exactly.
for a program. It's why we do all
I've
these
never been
things.
52 before. This is my first time being 52.
Right.
I need to figure out how this works. I need someone who's
Exactly.
55 or 60 to help me be 52, right?
Right. It's so true. It's so true. So I think the thing is that it's okay not to know, and it is safe to get more information and to get insight from a person who has a different perspective, and also to run that through the filter of how those suggestions can be appropriately implemented for the place and space that we're in, which is, similarly to what you just experienced.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it's interesting how the minute I started changing the website again and putting in my personality and the images that I loved and the images that I wanted to represent, basically I kind of use it as a vision board.
Right.
The website that I made is what I want to do, what I want to create, what I want to photograph, the clients that I want.
Yeah.
And then kind of now I'm just literally the past 3 weeks have been the best weeks I have lived since the beginning of the year.
Mm,
I started doing this meditation. I forget what it's called, but grounding yourself and then also connecting to the, you know, outside or the universe or whatever you want to call it, grounding those two together and letting that magic happen. So last Monday, I did that meditation and I said, I am just going to be ready to receive all the
mm,
greatness that can come. And I'm letting go of the outcome.
yeah,
I'm letting go of how that's going to happen.
right.
And I allowed myself to go again on this beautiful adventure that's only an hour and a half away that I had no idea of the beauty that was out there. It's something that had been calling me since last year. And so finally this year I decided to go. It was absolutely magical. I didn't even check my emails. I didn't check anything. I just
Mm,
really lived this moment. My guide that was there was 68 years old. And at 65, she decided to become a tour guide. She went and did her search and rescue certificate, first aid wilderness, which is not an easy feat.
right.
And now she runs this company, and her and I were like soul sisters. We connected right away. Like it was just like magic. We ended up spending we were supposed to spend what, like a couple hours touring just, this little area because I was blogging about this location and doing a gifted exchange. We ended up spending the whole day together. We did
Oh,
this sunset solstice ceremony on the ocean floor where
cool.
it was magical. When I came home, my email was full of job propositions and
Oh,
proposals. I had about five of
Sylvie,
them.
I
So
love
just
that.
living in my joy and in my happiness and just saying yes. I
I
don't,
love
yeah.
that. I love that.
It was really kind of like, it was kind of a test. Like I
Mhm,
literally put it to the test because I was thinking about not just what wasn't working with the beginning of the year, but I was also thinking about what worked previously, like
mhm.
how magical that year after COVID was when we went to
Yep,
Paris, when we,
yep,
like, it was just amazing, amazing, amazing. And I'm like, what shit the bed? Sorry for my French, but what
right.
shit the bed in the past 6 months? And it was because I was trying to control
Mm,
not only the outcome, but the way to the outcome. I was trying to control the how.
mm, mm.
And
So good.
you cannot, you can put it out there, you can envision how it's going to happen, you can imagine, but it comes at you this way when you think you're going this way.
That's right.
And to
It's
leave
true.
yourself open for that magic
Yes.
is not easy to do all the time, but when you allow it, it's just like, oh yeah, that's what was working.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I just listened to an interview with Kathy Heller and Amber Lillystrom,
Okay.
and Amber said the yes unlocks the how.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
just thought, oh my
Exactly.
gosh, it's so good. It's so good. And I
Yeah.
remembered what I was going to say. Doing something different, because again, you don't know what you don't know.
Hmm.
And doing this, just trying something new, sometimes is the stepping stone to this new path. And sometimes it is the thing that reminds you of why you were over here in the first place.
Yeah.
For example, this year, I decide at the request of some other clients, I've put together an itinerary for France that's for couples.
Oh.
I know. So that's Paris and Versailles for couples.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about it. And I will be going back to solo female travelers
Yep.
after this trip. It's not, I
You can
love
do both.
couples, I love love, I love boys, all the things. It's all fine. And I am not finding it as easy to invite people
Hmm.
because I
The market.
feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
and not because I'm not coupled with anyone, it's just I love my messaging to the solo female traveler.
Yeah. Same here.
And I know how to talk to her, and I know who I'm talking to when I talk to her. And when I am talking to people and inviting couples, it feels very
Forced.
like I'm just casting this giant net that says, if you're a human that loves somebody and you like
Well,
Paris and you have a credit card, come over here.
oh
And of
no.
course, it's like not that. And of course, it's like these dreamy, amazing experiences and,
Yeah.
with other high vibe couples. And
And I
isn't it
mean, what's
so
more
fun? And
romantic than Paris, really, right? I mean,
totally, totally.
yeah.
And I can definitely not, I almost said muster. Of course, I can talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's not who I want to serve.
No. It's
And
funny because I also had a retreat planned earlier this year with another lady, and it was just not coming together. Like everything, we had the place, which is why I went to this location in Parsboro in Nova Scotia, which was, now I know why I was supposed to go there. There was a
right.
calling me there. I thought it was with the retreat with this lady. It was all about energy healing, and it was up my vibe, up my alley, but it wasn't my target audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were
It just wasn't your target.
it just
right.
wasn't my target. It was just not vibing at the same energy. It was just not what I wanted to focus on, but I knew that it was the location I wanted to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to go experience it for myself. And now I know why I went there. And it was to meet Anna. It was to meet the guide. And I have to give her a shout out. Her name was Anna at Tide Rollers and Mudlarkers. And she's just such an amazing human. She's just, we connected on so many levels, on like spirituality and traveling and like life after 50, right? She's 65 and she just started her business. And sometimes I think I'm 52. Who am I to start, chasing a travel photography business? And
because you're not chasing it. That's why.
exactly. Exactly.
That's right.
I love it. I'm here for it. If you want to come with me, let's go. And I've got other clients as well. I'm loving my new plant-based, mostly plant-based. I still enjoy my fish and my shellfish and all of that, but I'm enjoying photographing farmers. I'm really just following what I love and the people that I want to be surrounded with. And there's one retreat that I went on, which was with other bloggers and creators and travel writers, and it was women. And the one lady that was there she said, the reason I started is because my husband and I love each other. We love each other, but we don't love always the same things.
Right.
So she says, I wanted to travel to luxury cottages, and I don't necessarily want to go golfing, and I don't necessarily want to go drink beer at a pub. I want to go watch a play. And so she just started curating these experiences for herself. And now she's one of the top travel bloggers in the Maritimes.
Oh,
So
fun.
yeah, just because you have a spouse and a family doesn't mean that you can't travel by yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that too in what's important to me in my client, because of course there's tons of people. There's tons of people that we're all following that
Mhm.
have trips to Paris. And what I love about the services that I offer is I really love caring for that person in a way that they forget that they're traveling by themselves.
Yes.
Because so many of the women that go on my trips, their concern, they'll be fine once they get to Paris, or once our
Yeah.
tour starts, they're
It's the in
totally
between.
fine.
Yeah.
It's the travel, it's navigating the airport, it's I don't even know, because they're just not used to doing it and of course you can do hard things, and they're not incapable. It's
No,
just
but
uncomfortable.
it's the unknown, right? It's the
Right.
unknown and it's the hassle. I mean, I'm a pretty seasoned traveler, and I'm not a big fan of the airports anymore. Like, it's a little crazy. It's a little like I don't know.
Right? And
There are things that I'm not happy about in airports, but if you're going to travel, it's stuff that you have to plow through. I was
sure.
so proud of my son when we traveled to Gothenburg. We went from Moncton to Toronto to Germany to Gothenburg. And he's 15 and I'm so proud of the little man that he's becoming. He navigated us through those airport like a champ.
Good job.
He was watching the timeline and seeing if we were and we were all sick. We all got COVID.
Oh
Oh,
no.
we were so sick. We were so sick. Like I barely made it to the hotel. I was so ill. And we all got it like one after another, but I still managed to enjoy my trip. I still went out. I still went out and photographed and we all recovered. It took a while, but we recovered. But yeah, no, he was so good.
Wow.
You know, if a 15-year-old can navigate through an airport,
Well,
anybody
and the
can.
beauty is, and sure, they can, but if they don't want to, it's also totally fine. And so a part of the services that I've added, this concierge service,
That's the best
or
thing I ever did when I went to Paris.
well, no, I've added something more. So
Ooh,
I've added
ooh.
something. So we do definitely have the meet and greet at the
Oh,
airport in Paris, but you can fly to Boston and then I'll fly with you
ah,
to Paris. And for other trips, if someone is doing a private itinerary with me, I will fly to your house. I will help
I
you
will.
pack,
Oh my God.
and then we will get on the planes together and we will go do everything because,
That's amazing.
and it's so in my heart to do that, Sylvie, because a nervous traveler is a nervous packer,
Yeah.
right? And so she might put more things in her bag that she needs, and then it's a pain because she's schlepping it everywhere, and we're there for 4 days, and she has 4 suitcases, and it's just,
Yeah.
and it's just because you don't know, and
Yeah.
you're
And the more you
used
do
to,
it, the more you know.
right, and you're used to taking care of everybody in your charge, so you start packing extra things, and then even though you're by yourself, you're creating these unknown situations. Like, okay, we're not going on the mission field. We're going to Paris. We can shop for anything we forgot,
They've got Advil, they've got Tylenol.
and they have umbrellas at the hotel, and it's like it's all fine. But I just love that it's in my heart and it's in my wheelhouse to bring that extra level of service that puts my client at ease. And it is a joy for
Yeah.
me to do that. And then when we get to Paris and we meet the rest of the group, or if the whole group flies to Boston and we get there together, I mean, it's just a party.
Yeah.
So I'm
Anything is
wanting,
doable, right?
right. And I'm wanting to not only encourage the yes, and then make you figure out how you're ever going to do that. I want to encourage the yes and
And make it easy.
opportunities for more yeses along the way.
Yeah.
And that's just something that feels special to me. And
That's a great
I
idea.
like that. I like that I know that.
I think it's an amazing idea, an amazing service that you're offering. I mean, I'm even thinking about, you know, myself, like when I want to host retreats here and people are like, well, where do I fly in? And like, you know, sometimes the East Coast can be very, very remote, right? Like
Mhm.
you can land in Halifax, but it's another 3-hour drive or 4-hour drive or 5-hour drive to get to Cape Breton. People don't realize how vast these small provinces can be and how, you know, how so that's a really, really good service. That
Thank
must be
you.
something I piggyback on.
Right. Of course. I mean, every good idea is up for grabs
Yeah.
for anybody
Totally.
else. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's so fantastic. So what is filling your days now? Who is your ideal client? Who you're doing so many retreats? Tell me all the things.
Well, who's honestly like right now really enjoying travel blogging. I
Okay.
really, really love that because I get to showcase the place how I'm seeing it and how I'm feeling it.
Mhm.
I'm honestly like I really write from a feeling perspective instead of here are top 5 places to go eat and you know, I offer that as well. But it's really about how that place made me feel and what that place made me
Mm,
discover and how it made me grow and who I met and how we connected. And it's more about the one-on-one interaction than the actual places themselves. I mean, even this when I went, I actually had a mini meltdown like I had at Dior.
Okay. That was not even a
No,
meltdown. That was a
oh,
religious
that was
experience.
a spiritual, like, out of body experience. But
Mhm.
honestly, this place kind of gave me that feeling as well. Just being on this big cliff right on the edge of the ocean, and just the magnitude of how I felt like I was just a speck,
Mhm.
and how big everything was, like to feel like you're being one with nature. And I'm not even a nature person.
Mhm.
But this was really, really, really amazing. And I didn't realize how amazing it was just in my backyard, that you don't necessarily have to travel far to have that far away feeling, if you know what I mean.
Right. So I love this. So you are travel blogging,
Hmm.
providing insights for the intuitive traveler.
And female photographers. I'm really focusing on how I'm going to live the rest of my empty nest years. I'm prepping
Okay,
the empty nest, basically, right? My
perfect.
son is 15. I'm seeing so much more independence from him. He opened up his own little business this summer. He's mowing lawns because he's not old enough to work, in retail stores and stuff like that. They need to be 16 to do the cash. So he decided to open up his little business. He started cooking. So, him and his buddies, for the first time, Jason and I can go away together. Not one of us has to go and the other one can stay home, because now he brings his buddies over and they have like this little bachelor pad that they call it, and they cook and they cleaned pretty well for a bunch of little boys. Well, not little boys, young men. So I'm really prepping myself. I'm taking care of my health better. I'm exercising better. I've started going to the gym. We're biking. My husband and I want to bike Prince Edward Island
Oh, fun.
by the end of the summer. Um, yeah, I'm just really being there for myself. I'm putting
Mm.
me first, and I'm open to whatever brilliant, beautiful things are happening. If I'm hoping to host, not I'm hoping, I will be hosting a retreat in Parsboro in Nova Scotia, which is an hour and a half away from Moncton and 2 hours away from Halifax. So it's a really nice central destination for if people want to come from out of town or from out of the country, and land into the Maritimes. And I'm just there for all the greatness and all the goodness, and I'm hoping to be able to travel more myself as well.
Oh, I love all of that. And it's just so fun. I mean, we haven't caught up with any regularity, but I just remember 2 years ago coming back from our trip to France and you really being aware of how you hadn't left your son
Yeah.
before and the amazing independence that he showed on the other side of your return, and just to see how that was not short-lived and you
No.
didn't take it back from him.
No, I'm highly encouraging more and more and more. And I'm still there for him. Not like, it's not like I'm pushing him out, or
Of
it's
course not.
like, you're old enough now. It's my job to teach you
Mm-hmm.
how to be independent. And the more I do it, the more confidence he gets in himself, right?
Right.
Like even this morning, he's like, "What's for breakfast?" And I said, "Whatever you make yourself is for breakfast." And I said, "I can make you something if you want." He's like, "No, no, no, you keep doing what you're doing." He's like, "If I need your help, I'll come ask you." And I'm like,
Nice.
"Oh, I love that."
Right.
I love hearing that. Um, yeah, no, I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know what he's gonna end up doing or going. And I'm not pushing him in any direction whatsoever. I'm really letting him discover his own path. We encourage him to do the best that he can do, to show up and to, give it his all. But whatever yeah, no, I'm just really enjoying watching him mature and watching him start to do his own thing. And I'm just like, all right, now I can start focusing on me, and Jason and I focusing on each other and reconnecting, because parenting is no joke. Parenting
Right.
takes a lot out. You're invested, you're, like, 95% of your energy is in making sure that that little human, well, for me anyway, I brought him into the world. I have to make sure that he is ready to make it out of the nest and be ready for life. And
Right. And
if that includes staying in my basement until he's 25, then great, but I won't be here for all of that.
right. I think it's so beautiful the way that you are not only fostering his independence and your relationship with him, but your relationship with your husband, and how that's just continuing to evolve as all relationships do. And that you are able to do things together, because of course when you're parenting and the kids are younger and you just need a break, like someone's got to stay home, so you're
Yep.
not doing things together.
Yeah.
And then sometimes
You
that
lose,
can be
you're going,
enjoyable
yeah. Yeah.
or
And we
habitual.
and we still allow ourselves time apart, which is great because then I come home and I've got something to talk about.
Right.
And then he goes away and then he comes back because his job takes him away quite a bit. He's going to be in Newfoundland, I think, in the next couple of weeks. And then we're all going to Ontario together to the Muskokas in this beautiful resort that his company has a conference and the family's invited. Then he's gone to Chicago. So there's so much for him to tell me when he gets back because he also
Right.
goes for his conferences, but Jason's got a very big sense of adventure as well. And he does stand-up comedy as
Oh,
as a
fun.
hobby. So anytime he's out of town, he tries to find somewhere where he can do some comedy. So when he gets back, he's got a lot to tell. So when I get back from so instead of just being like, what's for dinner? How was the boy today? Like that, like, okay, there's
Right.
hockey, let's mow the lawn. Like we have stories to tell and we have adventures to
Mm.
share. And it's like, now I want him to come to my location. And then he's like, well, you're going to have to come to Chicago. I really want to show you Chicago. And so like, we're having fun again. We're getting to know each other again. And it's okay to change in the relationship.
Oh, I think it's important.
Yeah, like I'm not looking to go back to our 20s and 30s where we were doing these kind of activities. We've, which is great. I mean, we still enjoy, like kayaking and biking but it's like I've matured and grown and changed and this is now what I'm interested in and that's okay. And he's interested in this and that's okay. And so
Of
now
course.
blend this together and see where it goes, right?
Right. Otherwise, you're having,
You're
your
just living
first
Groundhog
year,
Day.
right? Your first year of marriage 25 times. That's no
Yeah,
fun.
that's no
Instead
fun.
of growing
Yeah.
with each other and evolving simultaneously, but in obviously different ways.
It's not always easy, but you make it work and you give each other space to be your own individual self. Like I don't want to lose my individuality. I don't want to lose. Jason's not interested in maybe coming to, I don't know, like he's not interested in photography. He doesn't know why I spend half an hour on a rock with waves waiting for that perfect one to crash. He doesn't get that. And
Right.
I don't always think he's funny. And that's okay.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Oh, so fun. Well, I'm really thrilled that we were able to catch up. I'm
Yeah.
so excited about everything that's going on. Keep going, Queen. You are an inspiration. It is a joy to watch you follow your bliss and course correct along the way and
Yep.
trust yourself and all of those beautiful things that are a part of growth. It's a part of a growing marriage. It's a part of growing
Yep.
as a human. It's a part of growing your business. It's not just one and done. This thing is
No.
alive and we're in service to people. So it's constantly evolving and changing, but in an intuitive way. And
Yes.
sometimes the lessons come in expected forms and sometimes unexpected forms, but always for us,
Yep.
for our growth, for our highest and best.
Yeah. And never think that, I mean, my biggest mind shift that I have to get over is that time limit, right? That I
Mm.
only, like, I keep thinking, oh my God, I'm 52. I only have another 30 good years. I have another 30 good years. There's a
Mhm.
lot I can do in 30 years. right? Like, I mean, I look at Martha Stewart, who only started her business when she was 50. I
Mhm.
just watched the movie with Julia Child, who just, started her cookbook or started cooking lessons at 47. Like
Mhm.
all of these amazing women started their businesses in their later years.
Mhm.
I mean, look at you, right? You
Look at
just
me.
look at you, you're fabulous. You, I
Thank
mean,
you.
let's not 50 and 60 is not retirement's not what it used to be. I don't
Right.
even
And
want to retire. I just want to keep living my life
yeah,
and growing and evolving and discovering and just being alive, feeling alive
right. All the limitations we put on ourselves.
in our own minds.
Mhm.
Mhm. Nobody needs to know how old we are. Some
Nope.
days I'm too fabulous to do boring things.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely.
I'll have to send you that little meme. It was so cute.
Please do. It sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much. Please tell everybody where they can find and follow your adventures and hear about your retreats and everything that you're up to.
Absolutely. They can go to my website, which is www.sylviemazarolle.com. So Sylvie is SylvieMazerolle.com. Sign up for my newsletter. That's where I share, recipes that I've learned, places that I've been, people that I've met, adventures, anecdotes, jokes, you name it, it's in the newsletter. You can follow me on Instagram at Sylvie Mazarolle, Facebook. I I don't do TikTok that much. I've started doing a little bit of it, but Facebook and IG is where I hang out the most.
Perfect. Well, thank you. We'll link everything in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for your time, friend. It's always great to talk to you.
My pleasure. When you asked me about who my clientele was or who my ideal client was, and it kind of caught me off guard. So, it got me thinking. And my client is someone who obviously is interested in photography, doesn't have to be an expert, can be a beginner, can be a novice, can have a cell phone, can have a professional camera. It doesn't matter, it's at any level. Maybe she just wants to learn how to be more present and really capture the beauty that surrounds her. Maybe she wants to slow down and see, not just look at what surrounds her. Maybe she's been doing it for years, but she needs a change of scenery, new inspiration, new perspective, seeing things in a new light. Maybe she's looking to reconnect with herself and her camera. Maybe she has more time now that the kids are gone. Maybe she's like me. She's surrounded by testosterone and sports. Maybe she wants to get away and just, for herself and take a vacation, take time for herself, something that doesn't involve arena or sporting events. Photography can also be very lonely. Maybe she's looking to connect with other women and find some new inspiration. Maybe she wants support in her hobby or in her passion. Maybe she's not getting that support with her friends or with her family. Maybe she loves to travel and she's always wanted to come to the East Coast. It's all about places, faces, and flavors. And hey, if you want me to capture those for you as well, I'm also available for that. So yeah, my retreats are for anybody who wants to connect with the camera, see life through a new lens, refocus their lives, and come and have a good time.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wright House and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.